Now, Israel says one of the 4 bodies it received from Hamas is not an Israeli captive. The bodies were released on Tuesday with the help of the Red Cross as part of the Gaza ceasefire deal. They were taken to a forensic center in Tel Aviv for testing. Let's bring in Nour Odeh for more on this. Nour is in Amman, Jordan, because the Israeli government has banned Al Jazeera from reporting in Israel and the occupied West Bank. So Israel questioning, Nour, the identity of one of the bodies that was returned. What more can you tell us about this?
That's right, Foley. The Israeli army is saying that they've identified 3 of the 4 bodies that Hamas handed over to the Red Cross overnight. Now, this is a complication that was foreseen. There is no way to test for DNA right now in Gaza. The bodies are returned given information that the armed factions have about the whereabouts of those bodies. So the mix-ups, this mix-up is not the first. Recall in the last ceasefire there was a similar incident and it was corrected days afterwards. So this is not being announced by the Israeli army as an infraction, but certainly as an announcement that would be heartbreaking to the families who are waiting to have one of their own identified.
Yeah, but there are many questions, Nour, as to whether Israel will abide by the terms of the ceasefire. What more are they saying about the number of aid trucks that they're due to allow to enter the Gaza Strip as part of the ceasefire deal?
That's right, Foley, and it does also relate to the issue of the withheld bodies of the Israeli captives, because the ceasefire agreement did not stipulate a timeline for the return of those bodies. Let's remember there are 55 million tons of rubble in Gaza because of the Israeli bombardment. The Israeli forces are still present in 53% of Gaza, so Hamas has already told the mediators that retrieving all the bodies would not be easy. It may not even be possible given the lack of equipment and so on. And that is something that everybody agreed was realistic. In fact, even in January, months before the agreement was reached, Israel had said as much to the families of captives. But at this point, given the pressure mounting from the families of the captives, from the coalition partners of Benjamin Netanyahu, there was a stipulation overnight that because only a handful of bodies were returned, Israel was going to punish Hamas because it sees that it is not implementing the agreement as stipulated. And that's the problem, really, that Israel grants itself the right to interpret the degree of implementation of Hamas, and in response to that is willing to use food and aid and medicine again as a weapon of war. That is why there's a committee of the mediators that is supposed to be in charge of monitoring both sides and whether they adhere to the agreement. So these back and forths were expected, were foreseen. Israel has done that before, and the hope is that the mediators can work those things out.
Nour, thank you for that. Nour Odeh in Amman.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.